Welcome back to the Deep Dig Sports Pod. I'm your host, Drew, my other host right over there.
What's up? It's D. Good to see you again. So today we have a whole bunch of topics. We're going to dig into MLB. We're going to be talking about the San Francisco Giants hot streak. Shohei Ohtani is going to make like $1 billion this offseason. The NBA offseason is in full swing. So what's going on with Dame, Zion, Draymond, all that good stuff. But before we get into that, go ahead and hit that like button. Go ahead and subscribe. It really helps us out as far as pushing our content to other viewers just like you. So do your responsibility, hit that like button and subscribe.
Yeah, not a lot of football news going on right now, so we're just gonna.
Football's dead. It's the dog days of summer. We're eking through these topics.
But we'll get back to football pretty soon here.
I'm raring and ready to go.
But let's start with the San Francisco Giants. They went on a tear recently. Did they win today? Let me just look that up real quick. We beat the Blue Jays today, 3-0. So we're now 45-34. Let me see where we fall now in the standings. 2 games back on the NL West, and I believe we are in the wild card race. So, how are we feeling so far?
Honestly, this is a huge surprise to me. I think even if you go back to, we did an episode the day the season started. Giants lost that game, and I remember being like, fuck, this is it. Like, the Giants are going to suck this season. This is ass. I remember being so especially coming off of the disappointing offseason where everyone we swung on, we horribly missed. Arson Judge was a Giant for like 5 seconds. Then it turns out Aaron Judge signed back with the Yankees. We missed out on who was it?
I am meeting Aaron Judge tomorrow.
Oh yes,
miking him up for an event, shooting some video. So I don't know, what should I ask him when I meet him?
Is there a dog in the house?
He's a Fresno boy.
Fresno State Bulldog. So,
but yeah, I'm still hurt he didn't. I mean, it would have been amazing if I met him tomorrow and he was a Giant.
It would have been awesome.
But yeah,
I have that screenshot. Arson Judge is a San Francisco Giant. I have that screenshotted. I'm going to keep it with me forever. That's going to be my forever hate. If I ever find that guy, I'm going to punch him in the face. I promise you.
But back to people who are on the Giants. Right now, I feel like it was a mishmash of whoever we could get in free agencies to come here because we couldn't get that top dollar guy. One of the instances we didn't get him kind of worked out for the better.
Yes.
Injuries that kind of picked up, and now his contract doesn't seem worth it. But
works pretty ass.
I mean, I think the main key is that Kapler over the season, his strategy of rotating the lineups, getting the rotation in, and rotating the pitchers, like everything he does works out for the better by the end of the season. So is it time that we kind of stop shitting on Kapler of like when the team starts slow? Like, is he good?
I think, yeah, like now we could put that to rest. He is a good manager. How much of it is him versus how much is Farhan is still kind of debatable, but you can't say that he is a bad manager because look at what this team has done, and even teams in the past, they have overachieved from what they should have done. I think last year it was like, okay, this is like, you know, we see some life in this team. If we can just get one superstar, like it would take us over the top. And we see now, like, the team still doesn't have that superstar. It's just a solid team, a good mix of young guys and older veterans that are really stepping up to the plate. And it still feels like if we just get that one guy.
But also, doesn't it? I feel like it's this teeter-totter of, man, we really don't have anyone who's like a solid star or an all-star. And so it could fall apart. Like, it kind of felt like to start this season. And then you start to question, man, is Kapler, what is he doing? Farhan, do we trust him to build this? And then it's on the other side, these rookies are coming out of nowhere and doing great. So is that Farhan just bringing up guys at the right time other than Joey Bart? Or is it Kapler kind of getting more out of people than what they should be producing?
Well, I think with baseball, it's hard. You could have what people think is a quote-unquote good farm system, and it's just a bunch of players that are just good in the minor leagues. They never come up and actually get any sort of a stride in the majors. So it is tough to but somehow the Giants do it. It's pretty awesome to see them like pull the right guys at the right time. So I think it is a little mix of like kind of dumb luck, but also Kapler really strategizing and putting these guys and giving them the confidence to like, hey, you're here for a reason. I need you to do this. This is your job. Go ahead and do it. And it's just like, yep, we got it.
Yeah, and I feel like I was telling one of our other buddies, I don't see who the Giants have that I look at and I'm like, I want to build around. But I see a lot of guys who are role players, and like they are good role players. Like bringing back Lamont Wade Jr., I was like, he does what he does, and we get some out of him, and he does good. And then rotating him with like a Wilmer Flores, bringing back Jock Peterson, Estrada's doing his thing. And then I think what fucked us last year kind of is Joey Bart not developing. And now he's like struggling to stay in the minors. Like he's not looking good.
This was supposed to be the guy that was going to be Buster Posey 2.0.
Yeah.
This was going to be the team captain moving forward for the next 10 years. That's what like everyone was expecting. So it is a little disappointing when you do hype this guy up and he just doesn't live up to expectations.
Yeah, and that's the give and take here is like for the Joey Barts and the Heliot Ramos that didn't work out, now we have Schmidt and Patrick Bailey looking good. I was at the game where Sable hit a walk-off to win the game, and I'm loving Sable. So, all these guys I feel like are just overperforming, and we haven't even talked about Matos.
Yeah.
Matos looks like he's going to be a star for this team.
Man. And so the only thing is I am a little leery as far as, let's say the Giants do make the postseason. It's going to be probably an early exit. Like, it
has that feel.
Go back to like the Billy Bean quote of like, this is literally his words. My shit doesn't work in the playoffs. So Billy Bean even acknowledged Moneyball and like kind of, picking and choosing your spots. It does not work in the playoffs. What you need in the playoffs is a star player or two star players to really carry you through. And you have to have that mixed with a bunch of really good pitchers. And so do I think they have a star that they could lean on? Who would that be like right now?
Technically our star is a pitcher, Logan Webb, and that's like...
Yeah, but he's not... You know what I mean? Like we need a bat.
Yeah. The pitching's looking nice this year. Rogers looking solid, trying to make an all-star push. Of course, Duvall's doing his thing, Logan Webb. So I feel like we could have the bullpen to do it. But will our batting stay this hot? Will it stay this consistent? I don't know. I think we can win the division. To take a pennant and in this season,
that's a huge win. Yeah, especially with like the Diamondbacks looking as hot as they have, in the same division as the Dodgers and the Padres. Like that's a fucking murderer's row right there. So feeling pretty good if they could take that.
Yeah. Well, let us know in the comments. Do you think the Giants have a shot at winning it all this year? Do you think they're just running out of luck here, like running off of? We're really good friends. My kind of Miami Heat situation.
My mom said if I try really, really hard.
Miami Heat situation, the power of friendship. Let us know. But sticking sort of in that realm, Ohtani dominating.
Shohei Ohtani. So the Angels just beat the dog shit out of the Rockies. 25-3, I believe.
Something like that. And Ohtani didn't even do anything. Trout didn't do anything.
But it makes you look at the Angels and it's like, okay, well, this is a team that has two of literally the best baseball players anybody has ever seen. Mike Trout is generational. And then you have a guy like Shohei Ohtani who pitches. He bats extremely well. He plays outfield. He's fucking awesome. His contract is up at the end of the year. What are you going to do with this guy? If you're the Angels and you've just been dog shit your entire life, you second fiddle to the Dodgers, are you really kind of banking on Shohei Ohtani,
coming
back, wanting to be an Angel after you've kind of wasted his professional career so far?
I believe he had to stay there, right? Was the way like his Japan contract worked out.
He chose, so he had his choice of suitors. He could have gone to the Giants. I think it was the Dodgers. And then ultimately he went to the Angels. So there was a couple other teams in place. I don't know why the fuck he chose the Angels. I don't know what the thought process was
LA?
there. It's cool. But he could have been a Dodger.
Yeah.
So maybe he just wanted that star power to like, hey, no pressure situation. I could come in. This team fuck is ass. Like,
And the thing is, like, the MLB's tried to market him being on the Angels, and I don't think it's worked. I mean, it's worked internationally, but to the extent of being in LA, like, this guy should be everywhere the way he's playing. Like, it should be the biggest. He should be up there with, like, bigger than Giannis and Luka, I think.
yeah, I think the way he plays is electric. You should be making him just the face of baseball in general. And that I just don't see that happening on the Angels.
Yeah. Because you got to make some playoff runs.
You got to do something. You're wasting Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani. This is blasphemous.
They're 4.5 back on their division, and they're tied for that last wild card spot right now, which is, man, if you have those two players, how are you not in first place in your division easily?
Baseball team sport. I don't know what to tell you.
Would you roll the dice and trade him, or just be like, we gotta keep him and see what happens? Because every team in the league, I'd say, would offer him $1 billion this offseason, so it's kind of his choice where he wants to go.
But like, okay, let's be realistic. What does his contract look like? What did Aaron Judge sign for? I know it was a astronomical amount of money, but what? And he was a guy who actually did the same thing as Shohei Ohtani. Hey, I'm not going to sign a deal right now. I'm going to bet on myself. I'm going to play in my contract year. And he fucking balled out.
A 9-year, $360 million deal. I feel Ohtani has to get at least $500 million, bro. Like, he pitches and hits.
And he has the international appeal.
Yeah.
So.
Just a Yankee sign. Who do you think takes the biggest swing? Because he's been kind of linked to the Giants.
He has been linked to the Giants, and I know the Giants were in on Aaron Judge, but it's like, okay, well, do I want to do that, or do I want to stay with the Yankees where I just had one of the best seasons ever? I'm going to probably stay with the Yankees, the New York Yankees. One of the biggest brands in all of sports. So don't knock him for that. Shohei Ohtani, on the other hand, do you really want to stay with the fucking Angels? The Giants are a much bigger brand, and you see what they've built. So they can build around you with, like, very good role players.
They're
got the pitching.
The Buccaneers right now, pre-Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Like, they're loading up on some young talent. They're overperforming. Just don't know how to close it out in the end of the year. Let's bring in someone who's fucking elite.
Mm-hmm. But also, it's got to be one of the big market teams. The Dodgers, the Padres even could do it. The Yankees, like, I could very much see him just going anywhere where baseball really fucking matters.
Yeah, and it's gonna be a crazy day when he leaves the Angels, and Angels just, that's the thing, like, Angels are gonna fall off into such irrelevancy because Mike Trout was doing Mike Trout things, and no one really cared.
Yeah,
and even now, like, does anyone really watch them and care? Like, yeah, you'll see some highlights when they do some crazy shit, but who is like, oh, catch that Angels game?
If I'm the Angels right now, I know realistically there's two sides of this coin. You could flip him. I would go flip him to, like, the Reds. Give me Ellie De La Cruz. Give me a bunch of prospects. Like, let me just load up and build this team around Mike Trout. And you still have, again, a generational baseball player. Some might have said he was the best baseball prospect ever. You still have that guy on your fucking team.
Yeah.
So if you build around him, no one's going to be like, oh, like, fucking loser organization. It's like, oh, actually, that's really smart. What they did was Shohei Ohtani on an expiring contract. They went and flipped him for a bunch of prospects, and they really built around this guy. So unless you're going to do it the other way around and trade Mike Trout and just, hey, Shohei, we're really showing you this is what we want to do. We want to make you the guy. But I don't think they do. I think they're just going to stick with what they have, and he's going to leave in free agency.
And then it's kind of tough, too, of, like, I kind of love how the Giants' young core is coming together. And do you want to just keep on filling out with these? Maybe you get someone who's not Shohei Ohtani's level, like someone who's a star, but not the biggest star in all of baseball. and you just round out that roster with the 300 million, 400 million you would have signed him with. I mean, what's your team building strategy there? One guy, let's go all in, or let's spread it.
One guy who's
to 4 guys.
Electric.
Yeah,
it's a game changer. Again, like it's one of those things. You need someone to carry you through the postseason. You need a guy who's going to be on it when the lights are the brightest. And I think that Shohei Ohtani just in every situation he's been in, which again he hasn't been in the playoffs, so we never know, but he will step up and be like, yeah, like, you know, this is fine. This is just a game. I'm chilling.
I'll go fucking 3 for 5 and strike out 7 guys.
Yeah,
like,
no biggie.
Well, let us know in the comments. Do you want to see Ohtani be a Giant next year? Where do you think he's going to go? Would you re-sign him? Would you flip him right now? Trying to get money back for him. So let us know. We're going to move to the NBA. Chris Paul actually went to a Dodgers game the other day.
Fucking loser.
And it was the first time I seen Chris Paul, 12-time All-Star, member of the Golden State Warriors. And it felt, first of all, what the fuck are you doing going to a Dodgers game
when you just got Warriors.
Traded to the Warriors? Why didn't you up at fucking Oracle? First of all, like that seemed already like a fucking passive-aggressive move by Chris Paul.
Let's give him, like, you know, I think he does have a house in LA. So, hey, I'm just going to go to the game down the street. Cool. I'm not going to fly up there. What? Just to do what?
But how many guys have gotten... this isn't what we were going to talk about, but we could talk about it. How many guys have gotten traded to a different team and they do the fucking rollout of going to the baseball game, going to the basketball game?
You look at Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers took a full fucking tour of the city.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
Honestly, he looked like he had the funnest time of his life.
He could have been at the Sharks game. He could have been at the Giants. He could have been anywhere.
Well, first off, Sharks aren't playing right now. These are the dog days, all right? It's just the Giants.
But I'm saying for his first event, like, since being traded, he's going to go out here and show out at a Dodgers game?
I don't know, man. I just don't think... What is he going to fly up to the Bay Area for? You know what I mean?
Meet with some teammates, fucking do a little media run at the Giants game, get your standing ovation from the crowd. Was this a thing where, like, the crowd would have try to shit on him at the Giants game? Like, they don't like him.
Nobody likes. That's the fucking thing. Like, this is such a weird trade. Nobody fucking likes him. What is Mike Dunleavy doing? We're gonna pay $30 million to a fucking point guard who's a backup at this point in his career. Like, that's pretty fucking stupid.
Okay, this is what we actually want to talk about today. Because who was it? Chris Haynes?
No, it was Marcus Spears.
Mark Spears saying that he's getting word that CP3 is gonna start for the Warriors, and it'll be Chris Paul, Steph, Clay, Wiggins, and Draymond the starting lineup, which makes no fucking sense to me because that is such a small lineup and it doesn't really... I don't think that fit. I'd like to see that lineup in short spurts throughout the game.
Yeah.
But, man, to be a starting lineup...
One, there's no big man, so it's like, okay, well, I know Draymond can play 1 through 5. Mm-hmm. So,
but you're asking Draymond to be older and play that the whole game?
Maybe it's one of those things where, Chris, this is the quote-unquote starting lineup. We're going to play it for 3 to 5 minutes, and then you're going to sit the fuck down, and we're going to get Kevon back out here. Maybe that's it. Like, it's just an ego thing. Like, you're still a starter, but you got to go back to the bench. And I said this last time, too. His style of play does not fit what the Warriors want to do. What the Warriors want to do is get up and down the court, create chaos, get an open shot because we moved the ball around a whole bunch. Chris Paul is a ball-dominant, slow-ass old guy.
Well, here's my problem with everyone saying that Chris Paul doesn't fit the style of play of this team. What was everyone bitching about all year with Jordan Poole? That he moves recklessly, he's too fast, and he's making mistakes and he's creating turnovers. Chris Paul is the exact fucking opposite of Jordan Poole. And that's what the team was so frustrated with. Yes, they love Jordan Poole being a spark plug and scoring, but it got to a point where he felt like, I need to go off at every second. I need to be moving 110%. So now the bench is reworked so that Chris Paul will come in, calm things down, and really keep the offense afloat.
But that's not the bench in this scenario. That he is the starter. It would be different if he wasn't the starter, if they were like, hey, you know what? He's going to come off the bench and we are going to do this. Like exactly what you said. We just need a grown-up in the room who is going to control the ball. Let's get the team going. Let's get some half-court sets in. Steve Kerr's awesome at that. Let's do that. But that's not what they're saying. They're saying they're going to play him exactly with Steph, Clay, Dre, and Andrew Wiggins. That lineup, if it was just those 4 guys, then you pick mystery player 1. What do you think they're going to do? They're going to run up the fucking court.
Yeah. He has to be back. And if it's an ego thing, it's like you're at the wrong team. You guys, Dunleavy and him did not communicate before this trade happened to see if he's cool with that. Because, like, look around the league. Like, Russell Westbrook swallowed his pride. He came off the bench and he looked actually better.
Yes.
And people actually liked him more after that. And now it's kind of like, oh, he's going to get a contract. The Clippers want him. Like, I think... especially with the Warriors, who are known for people going there and accepting roles.
Yeah.
Like, Iguodala was an all-star.
The guy you want taking the shot the last second.
Yeah. But Iguodala was an all-star when he came here. He wasn't past it. He wasn't nearly past his prime as Chris Paul is right now.
Yeah.
And he happily took a back seat.
All the way back to David Lee.
Yeah.
David Lee was an all-star. Guess what? Draymond Green was playing better than him. He had to swallow his pride. He fucking made it happen and worked off the bench. It was awesome.
Mm-hmm. So, if it's an ego thing, then we have the wrong guy. We need to flip him somewhere during the season. But this guy should definitely be off the bench. Unless he's going to get that ceremonial, 3 minutes to start the game and then go back to the bench. But that's just what are we doing, you know?
I think, so shout out to Bo. Bo was like, we couldn't trade him for a washing machine.
Yeah, Bo in the comments.
Yeah, so it's true. At this point, I think Chris Paul is past his prime. He's not a starting caliber point guard for this team specifically. Mm-hmm. Because guess what? There's another point guard. His name is Steph Curry. And I would like to see Steph Curry continue to play point guard.
Yeah. And, I mean, as far as the whole Jordan Poole thing, I saw an interesting... thing today. I don't remember who said it, but they're saying the way this new CBA is formed, that second tax apron, you can't be paying these guys who you think, oh, well, they're going to be a role player and then we could flip them later. So we'll pay them the 4-year max extension, but we know we're going to get value back later.
Yeah.
Those are all the contracts getting flipped right now, which is Jordan Poole.
Yeah.
That 4-year max extension. So that is gone. Where, who was it? Cam Johnson. They're saying they want to pay him that 4-year max. Those contracts where they're used to say, fuck it, we'll pay him because we know a desperate team later is going to be like, he's young, we can get him and plug him in our team. That's not a great value anymore. So Warriors needed to get that off their books. That's why it was such a bad trade. We couldn't get much back.
Why's your name Money Green? You broke.
We're not going to talk about Cameron on this show.
I got more Michigan State bitches than you did.
If you guys don't know what he's referencing, apparently the rapper Cameron has a talk show that I keep trying to ignore but keeps popping up on my Twitter timeline. And I hope Cameron sees this because I don't want to hear what you have to say about basketball. But
it's a story on the internet. Go ahead.
According to his sources, I guess Cameron has deep Jordan Poole sources in his bag that Jordan Poole was talking shit to Draymond, and we know the specifics of what he said. And it was about bitches in Michigan
and money. So
you
broke.
You guys go look at whatever.
You in Sacramento.
You guys could look up what Cameron said about Jordan Poole, Draymond Green. We're not gonna talk about it. But more news in the NBA that isn't from Cameron. Damian Lillard goes back and forth on whether he wants to get traded. At what point is it an inconvenience to the team that he's kind of holding them hostage of whether he wants to stay or leave?
I think it's already an inconvenience. I think that is why they are so guard heavy right now. So they have Shaedon Sharp, they have Dame, they just got Scoot,
Anthony,
which awesome. Again, going into it, a rookie season with your nickname Scoot, that's fucking awesome.
And I saw because he's wearing 00, So it's like
Dude.
SC00T. That's pretty good.
That's awesome. All right, pretty sick nickname. But that's why they are pretty guard heavy. I think it is an inconvenience to know, like, this guy's kind of half in, half out. When he plays for us, he's awesome. But every offseason, we're going to pump fake, like, oh, I want out. I'm good. I want out. I'm good. And then right after they pick up Scoot in the draft, it's like, oh, well, Dame is unhappy that they actually took the pick. But it's like
who cares? Like, you got a great player there.
Yeah, a guy who fits in with what we're trying to do. It's another player that you can really interact with. And I think we have something special here. But instead, he's like, didn't like it. I would rather have Zion here. I would rather have, we should have traded for Porzingis. Like, what the fuck? Like, what do you really want, dude? And then he comes out and supposedly says, I don't want to be part of a big three. I just want a chance. And it's like, well, that's what Portland is doing.
This is such a dumb statement because it's like, okay, you either want to stay here and commit to this team that's rebuilding.
Yeah.
Let's face it. Like, they're not going to flip at Anthony, Shaedon, or Scoot for someone that's going to win now.
No.
They're not going to do that. So you either content there or you want to go somewhere that has stars that wins, but you want to go somewhere that's not too good because then it fucks with your legacy if you do win.
Yeah.
Like, because then you being this guy of like, oh, fuck super teams, like you guys aren't doing it the wrong way.
I did it from the ground up.
I did it the right way. Now you're kind of having to backtrack because you're saying like, I want to go somewhere I can win, but not too good of a chance to win.
Not if there's two other good players there.
Two all-stars.
Can't do it. That's escaping the grind. I want to go back. I just want to go from one grind to the next.
I want to go to the grind where there's star players that weren't all-stars, but they're good enough, and we all are really good and we win basketball. Like,
that's it. Like,
why can't you guys do that for me, Blazers organization?
It's not that hard. Come on, figure it out.
So I think he should just list a team.
Yeah.
Because now the Blazers have to go through and be like, well, they have 3 all-stars.
It's really just looking like Miami, if we're going to be honest.
Yeah.
If it's going to be anywhere, it's more than likely going to be Miami.
But then Jimmy Butler and Bam, that's 3 with him.
No,
all-stars.
They're not superstars, though.
Okay.
It's not a super team. It's just a good team.
That would be like, okay, send him to like the Knicks. Like, they have Jalen Brunson.
No, I don't want to go to a big market. It's not my bag.
Cavs?
I like the Cavs a lot, if I'm going to be completely honest with you. Not for him, but I like the team in general.
Yeah.
I think they did a lot of their draft picks are really fucking good. And Evan Mobley is fucking awesome to watch. I think he's one of those players that if you have NBA League Pass, he's definitely one that you should watch. So a guy that also is kind of in this same boat is Zion Williamson. So he's had a fucking
Did you see the stat of games played compared to Mariah Mills' tweets about Zion, and she outpaced him already?
Dang.
Supposedly she got a tattoo of his name on her face.
I've seen the video. It looks pretty crazy.
Yeah, so I'm sure you guys are familiar with the Zion story. We won't get too into detail, but basically Zion been getting around.
Yeah.
And it's been a little messy ever since he announced that he's having a baby.
Yeah.
Other women are coming out.
But anyways,
hey, that's his business.
Yeah, that's off the court stuff. Yeah. Good for you. Do what you do.
But it just adds to the fuel of you don't fucking play.
Yeah. Well, and then I think it was Windhorse came out and said that Zion has no relationship to the Pelicans whatsoever, whether it be the front office and the team itself. And so there is kind of been this whole thing even a couple of years ago starting where it's like, does Zion really want to be in New Orleans? Like, is this the place for him? And New Orleans looks like pretty awesome. I think me and you had talked about it this past season. Like, damn, if they just had another star, maybe like a Zion Williamson type playing.
They had an athletic power forward. Like,
this team would look fucking awesome.
Like CJ has surprised me. He's playing.
I thought he was going to go to that. I thought they were putting him out to pasture when they traded him.
And I think
Blazers.
Honestly, since CJ got away from Dame, he's been better.
Yes, he looks awesome, and he's taken that. Hey, I'm a mentor role. Brandon Ingram has looked amazing. Jose Calderon.
Yeah.
Oh my god. So
You mean, is it Alvarado?
Jose Calderon is the he was on the Raptors.
Mixing up your
my light skinned Hispanics.
But yeah, they're looking good. They have some talent.
Herb Jones,
Big Herb,
Big Herb,
and then you got like a Jackson Hayes in there. You know,
so they have a lot of pieces. I really feel like they are one star away from being real competitors in the West. With that being said, I don't think it's Zion. I think you flip him while he has some value. I know you haven't really seen the full potential through, but again, that's not your fucking problem. What your problem is right now is winning. And you have a team that has a lot of good pieces. If you just get one more player, you could make a run.
And I feel like this coming year, maybe even next 2 years, I feel like the parity in the league is going to be outrageous. Like any team could come up and win.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any, if there is a handful of teams who are trying to lose. I think every team feels like they have a chance of getting the playoffs. And once you're in the playoffs, like anything can happen. With this new CBA rule and people are trying to get under that cap, they're going to blow up a little parts of their team and they're not going to be as balanced.
Yeah.
These top heavy teams. And so, and even if they are top heavy, yeah, they have 6 players. So I think anyone could come in right now, have a good run at it and make a deep run. And Pelicans are right there. Like Brandon Ingram, come on, scoring in the playoffs, that would be amazing with Zion there and McCollum just running the show. So
if you flipped him to the Knicks, like where he has been, linked to for, again, since his entire career, flip him to the Knicks, you take Julius Randle. I think that's a very viable option there. You got Julius Randle, an amazing power forward who's going to fit in with what they do. Let's do that.
You get Julius
At least
Randle,
he fucking plays.
Obi Toppin, and like a guard, and then draft picks.
Boom.
I think that would really help the Pelicans next year. But it's not the star power of Zion.
No, you just can't have this guy who just rides the bench consistently.
At what point are we acknowledging that star power is overriding output of play? Like, at what point are we saying, oh, well, even though he doesn't play for us and he's like, we're not winning with him, like, we still need to keep him because he's a huge star? Like, when does the level of not playing affect his star status? Or
even just like, oh, his name is bigger than his play.
Name bigger than game.
Yeah, name bigger than game. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
Trae Young. Trae Young's a guy,
and that's why Atlanta is kind of like open to shopping around.
Should we get rid of him? Like, we brought in Quinn Snyder.
They dumped
to really see
John Collins after years of trying to trade him.
Yeah,
and they got nothing back.
Yeah, but it is what it is, dude. Hey, you know what? We're gonna make this better. We're gonna be a team that actually wants to be here and be in it. And so, like, I like what they're doing. And if they do decide to get rid of Trae Young, I'm not going to be like, dang, they got rid of a pretty vital piece.
Would you do Trae for Zion? Who says no?
Probably the Pelicans, if I'm going to be honest. Yeah, it's definitely the Pelicans.
Yeah.
Because
what if you go...
The potential of Zion is way better than the potential of
Thinking of like a trade for Zion. What if you did the Paul George for Zion move? He can't stay healthy either, but if you get one good playoff run out of him, he could be elite in playoffs for you. Put him at the 4. Fuck it.
Pandemic P?
Yeah.
Damn. No, actually, I do like that. I think it's, again, a good veteran presence to play off of CJ McCollum. CJ wants to win it so bad. And I think that Paul George would definitely step up to the mentality, whether he's available for the playoffs or not, which, because he has that in his own right. Like, he is a big question mark when it comes to down the stretch. But I think the mentality of getting there, I think he would really help the team. Like, hey, you know what? We can do this. We can do that. Like, I think that would really help out this Pelicans squad.
And he's respected across the league.
Yeah. So I mean, a guy like him.
Even a guy like either DeMar DeRozan or Levine.
That's what I was just thinking.
But then it's like hard because none of these guys, like the Pelicans or even I think any team in the league, none of these guys would see that as equal.
No.
Like, oh, Zion's supposed to be of what he's supposed to be compared to like, hey, these guys are putting up numbers and they're just like solid team guys and they'll fit into your team. but like this guy's supposed to be the star, the future of the league.
Yeah.
And so it's hard to move on past that. And even if you say you trade him for, let's say, like you get Zach LaVine and then like a Kobe White and picks.
Yeah.
And then throw in like Vucevic. Like you get like 3 solid players and picks and Zion does nothing. Like you have to win something to be ruled as a good trade, or you'll be like, oh, that was dumb.
That was dumb. If they would have waited 5 years, Zion would have turned into
Because then
something.
you're still gonna get the people like, well, if you guys would have committed to Zion and like developed him, you guys would have been better off in the run. But he went over there and he's sucked because he got flipped.
Because he got flipped and Mariah Mills didn't go with him.
Yeah, exactly.
She didn't motivate him.
I mean, he was the one gonna pay the bill to move her out. So
hey, it is what it is.
Think he paid for that tattoo?
No, she did it on her own.
He's gonna pay for the removal.
Yeah.
I don't know. Any other interesting... Well, Draymond supposedly is going to listen to offers in free agency. I kind of hope he walks.
Not now.
Not now?
No. Who are we going to have?
I mean, step up Kuminga. Then you're forced to play Kuminga.
I don't know. Draymond is such a unique NBA player. As I said before, he could play... On defense, he can guard 1 through 5. He is a huge facilitator in that offense where the ball, most of the time, doesn't even go through Steph Curry. It goes through Draymond Green to get the set going. He's very vocal as far as getting the team involved. Hey, we need to step up. He will hold guys accountable. I think you pay a premium to keep that guy on your team.
Yeah, if you're not being accountable, Draymond will beat the shit out of you.
Yeah, he's going to kick your ass.
And then trade you. So, I don't know. Do you see any team offering him more than what the Warriors would offer? Like, who would want him other than the Lakers? But they don't even have cap.
I know Jordan Poole thought he would go to the Sacramento Kings.
Which isn't a terrible take. Like,
it's not, but honestly, like, that's not a team that I feel like needs him.
But imagine him kind of mentoring Davion Mitchell and Keegan Murray. Like,
but they kind of feel like they didn't back down from the Warriors in that series. They have their own little bit of swag and Sabonis isn't like he's a little. He's a hard ass.
Draymond was at the point where he was like Tony Allen, just defensive specialist, like roam around the league. I'd be like, yeah, Kings sign him for 1 year, like 6-7 mil, and like let's just let him be a role player on the defensive bench. Like,
yeah,
I feel like that would be a perfect role for him. But I feel like a lot of teams, it would be if we're gonna take Draymond, he's gonna be a bench player who comes in and plays defense for us 15, 20 minutes a game.
I did see somewhere that one possible team is the Portland Trailblazers. If they do decide to keep Damian Lillard, he would like to play with Draymond Green. I could see that, being a pretty good thing.
They do have a lot of scoring already.
Yeah, and so just a guy to play straight up defense.
But like, let's be real, Draymond's not going to Portland.
If they paid him a premium, I think he would.
Yeah. And
let's think about it. This is going to be his last huge contract.
This is going to be his last contract, maybe.
No, he's a guy that can, be a role. I think he will transition pretty nicely if he chooses to. But honestly, he more than likely is going to make so much money outside of the game of basketball. He's already has a dynamic podcast, and he's already kind of played around with being on TV. So like,
definitely going to replace like Chuck or Shaq or something.
Yeah, so he's a guy that I could see like a TV deal getting him out of the league rather than him being a journeyman role player. But I think his game transitions pretty nicely into that role where he can just be like, hey, I have all this experience. Just use me as a coach and I'll get in for 12 to 15 minutes every game.
I like him in that role. I just wish he was there already.
He's not.
And the contract was there already. Because it would hurt me to see a 3-year, $100 million deal with the Warriors. And then in 2 years from now, he's not playable, or like he should be playing really less than 10 minutes a game, and he's starting for us because
of the contract. Yeah,
in contract.